ASMR. Check him out, guys. He has a great channel. I've shouted him out before, but I'll shout him out again because he's awesome. He makes great videos, so go and check out his channel. And also, it was requested by Aaron ASMR 883. So thank you, Aaron. This one is for you and for Whistler D. Now, Aaron has asked me to talk a little bit about my life so far, and things that I've learned from it, and things that have happened. So I will be doing that. But Whistler D asked me to drink aloe vera. Now, I've never tried this, guys, so I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also a bit nervous because the last video I watched of Whistler D's, he tried something and he didn't like it. So I'm just really hoping that I don't dislike this. But there's only one way to find out. Let's open this up. It smells kind of good. And as always, I have Skeletor, the Glass of Doom, full of ice. So let's pour this in. Some ice swirling for my friend Laura. Now, it would be ironic that someone whose last video I watched didn't like what he was drinking or eating. He might have been drinking or eating something. I can't remember if he was eating or drinking something, but this should be interesting, guys. Here goes. Cheers. Oh, it's really nice. It's kind of like a mix of strawberry and lime. It's the only way I can describe it, but it's actually nice. Whistler D, oh, getting the growlies. Thank you, buddy. I actually really like that. Cheers. It's nice, it's really refreshing. Okay, guys, a little bit about my life. Okay, I've had a sort of roller coaster ride in life, ups and downs, which I'm sure most people have. I had a really happy childhood, although I hated school. School was a big problem for me because I just couldn't stand it, especially high school. just so much disruption in the classrooms. It was really awful. But yeah, I mean, I've told you about the stories of my school days. So yeah, I did have a few problems there, but then I had a real problem with acne. Someone actually did ask the other day if I have eczema on my cheeks, and it's not eczema at all. It's just I had the worst case of acne I think you could possibly imagine, and eventually it got so bad that I had to go to a skin specialist. I'd had it for about 5 years, and it was getting so bad that, I mean, I was getting things like on my eyes that was stopping me from seeing. I had boils so big coming up on my face that it was obstructing my vision. It was absolutely awful, and I was working at the time, and I used to have a lot of people come in and ask what was wrong with me and everything. It was such a terrible thing, and it ended up giving me agoraphobia, or agoraphobia, as you I think call it in America. And I just didn't want to go out. I didn't want to do anything at all. I just used to go to work and come home and go upstairs. But what happened was anxiety, which is what I was really suffering from, can be a very horrible thing, because it can cause so many problems to your body. What would happen is I would come home from work and I'd be sitting down, and it would be time for me to go upstairs to my room, because I was living at home with my parents at the time, and I'd have to psych myself up to go up the stairs, because as soon as I had to go upstairs, I had this burning, stabbing pain in my back, and I couldn't hardly breathe, so I'd have to get up and sort of struggle up the stairs, get to my room, and I would literally collapse on my bed, gasping for breath because of anxiety. I now recognise it as a panic attack, but at the time I never knew what it was, and I seriously thought that I had something wrong with me physically. You also get things like an emulated heart attack. Basically, I used to be up the hospital all the time. I'm talking getting the pain down the left arm, being sick, like throwing up, pain and crushing in the middle of my chest. And the times my dad used to drive me up to the hospital, and I'd have like an ECG. Eventually I had an ECG, I had all my heart scanned, they did as many tests as they could, and they said everything is fine. So I had to sort of work out, why this was happening, and I was getting all these different things all the time. Oh, nice. So it was a bit of a struggle for me, because where you just don't know what it is, you just think that it's something really, really serious that's happening to you. And this sort of, I've had this all through my life. I ended up one day, I was in my house one day, and all of a sudden, before I knew where I was on the kitchen epilepsy is that you can have non-epileptic seizures, which are exactly the same, but they're brought on more by stress. And because they're brought on by stress, drugs can't really control them. So it's a bit of a difficult thing to have, because with normal epilepsy you can usually get it under control, and with medication, but with me medication wasn't helping, and plus they didn't know that it was non-epileptic. So I decided to go into the hospital for about a week and had to be all sort of wired up. It's called a telemetry. And it turned out that they had a video of me having a seizure, and they said that from the video it wasn't, because nothing was showing up in the brain waves, so it was non-epileptic, which is really, like, it's kind of scary, because you think it's actually stress that's causing that, which is like really awful. So they put me on medication for it, but it didn't really help, and once they sort of established that it was non-epileptic seizures that I was having, there was no real point in being on anything for them. So I came off of those, and I still unfortunately do have the seizures, but I don't think I've had one in a while, so that's good. But again, another thing I've been through is depression, which is something I'd like to talk about, because I think it's very important. When I was about 18, I thought I was suffering from depression. I felt really unhappy and low, but I found that I would come home and I would listen to music, and music would help and make me feel a bit better. About 10 years ago, actually it might not even been that long ago, it might have been a bit more recent than that, but about, let's say, 5 or 6 years ago, I got depression, and it wasn't the same thing at all. It wasn't anywhere near what I had. And this is the thing, guys, if you find you're suffering with depression, make sure that that's what it is, because if that's what it is, you need to get it dealt with, for the sake of your own well-being, because all I wanted to do was I just didn't want to be here anymore. It was really bad, and I would sit at home literally crying, constantly crying, and wanting my life to end. I'd felt that I'd had a good time in my life, and that it was now over, and all of the things that were good, that made me happy, were now gone, and I was never getting them back, and so I didn't want to carry on, and it was awful. And this is the difference, okay, between being just down or being depressed, is one, I was constantly just crying all the time. I constantly just didn't want to live anymore. I had no purpose in life, and I used to sit and watch a movie every night, and saying, all I was saying in my mind was, can you please go away? Please go away and leave me alone. And that is such an awful thing for a father, for a parent, to feel about his children. But it's what was going on in my mind at the time. That was it. And I'd seen people, I was seeing like people about it, and they was all saying, would you go on antidepressants? Have you ever thought about that? And I said, I don't really want to take anything for it. I was like probably a lot of people, and I thought, I don't want to go on medication because it's going to alter my mind. I don't want it. So anyway, I still had this problem with depression and also going out. You know, I still had this agoraphobia. Getting on buses or trains was an absolute nightmare. You know, if a bus pulled up and it was full, I wouldn't get on it. I couldn't get on it. It wasn't that I wouldn't, I couldn't. It was just impossible. I'd have to wait until I got a bus come along that, you know, had less people on it. It was really, really bad. So I was seeing people, and I saw one doctor who did nothing, didn't help. Saw another one who did nothing and didn't help. And I was kind of giving up. And then I got this, I had the depression with it too. So not only was I sort of trapped in my house, I was also crying my eyes out, not wanting to be here anymore. Didn't want to know my children, didn't want to know anyone. I didn't want to do anything. So one day I went to this other doctor, and this doctor was amazing. And as I was telling him how I felt and telling him about, you know, all the problems I have with not being able to go out, etc., I just burst into tears in front of him. I just broke down. And it had been a real struggle because I had to get a train to go and see him as well. So I'd worked really hard that day for me to get there. It was a big deal for me. But yeah, and I just broke down, and he said, look, he said, see this guy. This was another doctor. He said, to help with the anxiety and the agoraphobia. He said, and also, I know you don't want to go on them. He went, but go on antidepressants, just give them a try. He said, if they don't work or you're not happy with them, we will change them. He said, because, and this is the thing guys with antidepressants, is some people go, I've took them, they didn't work, I don't like them, and that's that. It takes lots of different types. There's different types for different people. One might agree with one, but not with someone else. Because this is the story. He put me on these antidepressants. So I was already a bit, you know, I still wasn't sure. But I took them, and I felt absolutely dreadful. I felt worse than ever. Not only did I feel the same, I was, you know, still doing the same things every day, but I also felt tired. My head felt like it was full of water. I felt absolutely awful. So I stopped taking them. I thought there's no way, and I thought, I knew it, you know, they wasn't ever gonna work. So a little bit of ice in there. Oh. Yeah, so I thought I knew they wouldn't work. So I went back to the doctor. I mean, you know, I phoned him, or my wife phoned him, and he said, I'll make an appointment as soon as possible. Come back up and see me. So I went back and saw him, and I told him about how they made me feel. He said, okay. He went, please don't give up. He went, please don't think that's what they're all going to do. He went, they obviously so much better and happier and more confident, and that's when I started doing more YouTube videos. And the good thing was about it is when I started doing this ASMR, and all of a sudden I started getting all these requests and someone saying I'll do this and do that and do this and do that, and then my channel started to grow a little bit, which was fantastic. I'm not going to go into too much, but things weren't working out at home. I was having some really bad, really difficult things going on. But I finally did something about that too. And I've now moved on, guys, and I'm moving on. But it's just fantastic that now I can see a brighter future now rather than no future at all, which was what I had before. It was really bad. I can now, all of a sudden I wanted to talk to my wife, I wanted to talk to my children. It was this crippling, this dark cloud constantly over you had gone away and the sun had come out again. And it was like, what, this is kind of cool. I want to live, I want to carry on my life, and I'm not happy with this and I'm not happy with that, so I did something about that as well, which is something I would never do, and I'm so much more happier for it, guys. So that was, that's bad things that have gone on, but I also had really some fantastic things as well. This is going to be a really long video, so I don't know whether to stop yakking now, but I'm going to have another little drop of this. Oh, I'm so glad I did drink that. I was really thinking I weren't going to like it, but I do. So that's good. And there is actually drinks that I do like that don't taste as good as that, so that's always a good thing. So anyway, guys, if you want, because I don't know how relaxing it is to listen to this, but if you want me to sort of continue, I can tell you more about things that, happier times in my life that have gone on. And it's also, Aaron said, things that I've learned in life. What I've learned is, if you find that there is something affecting you, get and do whatever you can to get rid of it. Okay, like if you suffer from depression, guys, I can't emphasize more how much the antidepressants help me, but I do, need you to understand that the first lot I went on, I felt awful. I just don't want anyone saying I've tried them and they're horrible and I didn't feel any better. Stick with it. I promise you there is one for you that will work. Obviously things in life, if you're going through a hard time, obviously, you're never going to be singing, the sun has got his hat on when you're going through bad things. Things have been difficult for me lately over the past 6 months because of things that have been going on in my life. But, what I've learned is if you've got something that's holding you back, then, get help to fight that off, because once you get your confidence back, once you start thinking straight, you can start thinking about what you really want, rather than just being stuck somewhere where you don't want to be, doing something you don't want to do. It's not always possible to get out of it, so much. And the other guy he was talking about, I only went to an assessment and I was fine after. I didn't even have to go and see him again. This guy got in my head and he sorted me out big time. So it's all about seeing the right people and getting the right medication to help. If I'm talking about if you're suffering from depression, it's this I really wanted to focus on, because I do know a lot of people that do. And I also know how crippling it can be to have it. It's really awful. Don't suffer with it, guys. Okay? Get the help for it. Take what you need to take for it. And don't ever give up, because I've got over it. And I never thought, the agoraphobia is something I never thought I would get over. Ever. I'd had it since I was 15. Now I can go out, I can get on a bus, I can get on a train without all that anxiety. Obviously you get anxiety if you're packed in like a tin of sardines. Like I said, no one's going to be singing "The Sun Has Got His Hat On, Hip 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 Hooray." But I can actually cope with it now, and that is, it's so good. It feels so good to be able to do it, because you're not trapped, you're not a prisoner anymore. Okay guys, I'm gonna wrap this one up. I hope you liked it. If you want, I will be talking about happier things, okay, as well, which were the things that I kept focusing back on. If you want to see like another part of this video, then I will, but otherwise I can't see how long it's been going on for, but it's been a long time. Also guys, it's Valentine's Day, okay, so have a great one. I've got a story about going out today as well, which I'll talk to you about that at another time. But yeah, I'm gonna go, guys. Thank you all. I hope you watch this to the end and you go, "Oh God, Jeff, I've come on here to relax, mate, and you're saying about all this unhappy rubbish." Okay, I'm gonna go. Please like this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And please hit that notifications bell so that you're notified whenever I upload a new video, which is practically every day now. I will be back with more. As I said, if you want to hear more of this, guys, let me know, because I'm not sure whether people will like it or not, but let me know. But I will be back with new things as well. I've got lots of things coming up. So thank you for your questions as well. Keep those coming. I will be doing a Q&A probably tomorrow. I might even be doing the Devil May Cry demo, Devil May Cry 5 demo. A little bit of ASMR mixed with some gaming, I think works quite well. Yeah, so that's coming up. Lots more food. I've demolished a bucket of KFC and videoed it, but I'll be putting it up at a later date, so stay tuned for that. Okay guys, thank you for watching. I will see you next time, but in the meantime, have yourselves a wonderful, peaceful